In addition, I want to show you this section is some of the more difficult phrases. These are really kind of tough phrases because there's a lot of subtle changes chromatically, meaning lots of black and white notes outside of the scale. So if you really want something to dig into, here's a section for you. All right, here we go. This is where it gets kind of tough. And then it repeats. One of the things that you might be wondering is, why do I need to download this lesson? Why don't I just go out and listen to other music and imitate that? Well, actually, I think that's a great idea. You should always do that. That is one of the best ways to train your ear, is to imitate others. But the unique thing about this hour and a half of recordings is that it's dedicated 100% to call and response phrases, meaning every time I play something, I wait an equal amount of time for you to imitate that. That's actually quite hard to find on a consistent basis in any recording. Whether you download a song from the net or record a song from the radio or wherever. You might find somebody who takes a solo in a recording and they'll do a couple call and response phrases, but typically solos will last, for 8 or 16 bars. And what you have to do to imitate them is to hit the pause button and then play what you heard, and then hit the play button and get another phrase and hit the pause button and play what you heard, and maybe rewind and fast forward and all that business. But to get a concentrated dose of call and response phrases for an hour and a half is fantastic, because you're dedicating 100% of your time to listening and playing instead of fighting with the pause and the rewind buttons and trying to find phrases that you can imitate. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to give to you, and that's a concentrated dose of training your ear to a real high level. So now let's dig into a different section. Let's dig into a section where the phrases are getting longer. This time, to get your hand in the right position, place the middle finger of your right hand on the note A. Phrases are getting longer. Even longer. That was nice and long. Now it's your turn. Now even longer. All right, here comes a new key, and the phrases are faster now. So last night, as I was recording this lesson in the studio, my 16-year-old son Nathan comes in and he goes, "Hey Dad, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah." And I said, "Hey, try this out." And he is a drummer and he plays keyboard, but that's not his main thing. And so I said, "Try this out." So he sat down and I rolled the video and he started laughing. And we were cracking up because it's difficult, but it's challenging, and that's fun. It's fun when you can really feel like you're digging in and you're kind of getting something. And, especially if you're a kid or a guy like me, if it doesn't take a lot of prep, if you can just sit down and go and feel like you're really getting something, under your belt and you're learning something musically, it's pretty awesome. In fact, some of his friends came in and then they stuck around forever, and then I had to stay up forever finishing the lesson. But I know this is very effective, and I think it's going to be really effective for you. Now, before we go today, let me just give you some quick details. Like I said, this is an hour and a half of content, but as you noticed, on the screen you saw an animated keyboard that was showing you the correct notes. Now, if I did that for every key and for all the different tempos, for all those recordings, the tendency is that you would look at the screen. I know you would because I do. And then what are you relying on? You're relying on sight, and that's what we're trying to get away from. Instead, you want to rely on your ear. So the one video shows all the notes to play, but the rest of the recordings, all 6 keys in 3 different tempos, don't have that keyboard up on the screen, so that you'll end up really developing your ears. Just like the pros do. You watch any band of skilled musicians, and when it comes time for a solo, sometimes you'll see a little friendly competition. You know, the guitar player will take a 2 or a 4 bar phrase, and the saxophone player or the piano player will imitate it to the best of their ability and maybe embellish it a little bit. But listening and then playing is such a powerful concept. So in this lesson, if you have to look at it, I've included one of the keys that shows you exactly which notes to play. And if you can't figure out what note is he playing there, it's just so weird, you can go and figure it out. Finally, in this lesson, I've included an entire section that you can download and print out, and it has to do with fingering. What fingers should I use as I'm playing all these phrases? You know, especially as the phrases stretch out. Sometimes you've got to get your thumb under, or sometimes you got to stretch that pinky out. And there's some really specific rules, rules that are meant to be broken, but they give you some real good guidelines. This is a really powerful resource that you need to have. So there it is. I'm excited for you. Dig into this stuff, download the entire lesson, and train yourself a set of big, beautiful ears. You'll be a better musician for it. My name is David Sprunger. Thanks for listening. Now you know what to do. Go practice.